Hi everyone. Good afternoon. This is Marianne Francis from Unapologetically, and we are here live today with what we're gonna do is talk about being unapologetic and what that means. So I'm gonna give a few moments for people to kind of come in. I'm like a couple minutes early, but I wanted to also test out because um, I possibly can stream to IG. So I wanted to just see if I can give that a try as well. If not, I'm going to put it back up my phone to do so. Let's see. Some of these streaming apps, they have different things that you can do and some things that you can't do. So we'll see. If not, that's okay. We'll go live anyways. I don't think it went through. So what we're going to do. Not a problem. So we're just going to set it up here. Just give me a second. All right. Hello, hello. So now I am live on Instagram on the Unapologetically movement. This is Marianne Francis, and today we're going to talk about being unapologetic. And this is our first live for 2024. So I thought it would be kind of important, and I thought it would be good to kind of have that conversation about being unapologetically yourself and what that means, because a lot of times when someone says I'm unapologetically me, right, they can have, some people can take that in like more of a toxic form or manner, right? And that's not what this movement is about. This movement is much bigger than that, right? This movement is about being unapologetically yourself, as well as, you know, the other things that come along with it, with building your tribe and finding women that are on a journey for self-love. So it's not just, I think the generic definition is just not apologizing for who you are. We're not talking just about that. We're talking something deeper. And for the women who have been part of any of the Women's Day workshops or Unapologetically Me retreats, I hope even for them they took away that this is much bigger than needing or feeling like you have to apologize to anybody. That's not what this is. This is a form of understanding who you are, discovering who you are. It's a mindset, right? And maybe some women who have been part of any of the workshops or retreats could kind of chime in on their experience of it. But unapologetically is about a mindset that, you know loving yourself, understanding what that is, the life that you're trying to create, the alignment that you want in your life, whether that's in love, whether that's in career, whether that's friendships or any type of relationships that you're experiencing. Because a lot of times we are doing things that are ingenuous to who we are as people, and oftentimes we're questioning, why do I have this anxiety every time I enter this building to go to work? Or why is it that I feel like I'm working extra hard for this relationship and it just never seems to be working out for me, right? Or what about this friendship that I have and we've had so for so many years, and just we just don't seem to be clicking, or we're just not vibing the way we once used to be. And the reality is because we grow. And as human beings, we naturally grow from our experiences. We learn, we take in, and from there we take those lessons and we kind of choose further what we're going to do and what we're not going to do, right? And sometimes people might take that, and if they've experienced certain traumas that kind of correlate or relate to that, sometimes it's like a step backwards. But when you start aligning yourself with the things that you want out of your life and paying attention to your intuition, to your gut, that is where that unapologetic mindset comes along, right? It's You're not going to turn left or turn right because my gut and my intuition is saying I need to move forward and I need to move this way in order to feel at peace. And what I'm striving for in my life is to be at peace, and that peace brings in happiness. And every time I take that left because someone influences me or someone says, makes it seem like it's going to be different this time around, and I want to give that chance, I take that left and I go with it, and I realize, whew, my energy is uncomfortable. And I mean, not the uncomfortable in way of saying this is uncomfortable and you need this to grow, versus that uncomfortability, distorted feeling. And you're like, this is not it. This is not what I'm looking for. This is not what I want. But then when I start stepping backwards and going back into my path of alignment, it feels good. It feels back at peace. And it's not to say that it's complacent or comfortable, because my goal is to keep going and keep striving for something that's better than what I even know to exist. But I'm going to keep moving forward. I'm going to be unapologetic about my decision about that, because I have to stay in alignment with what's going to work out for me. And it may mean losing people that you never thought you would lose before, right? It may mean that you are going in a direction that you've never been before, and it can feel scary. And it may feel scary, but your gut is saying you have to do it, right? There's that push to say this is it, and you have to keep going and don't stop. So keep going. Don't stop. Be unapologetic about it, right? Again, it's the mindset of it. It's not about anyone else. It's about you. It's about knowing what you want out of your life and going with that. So I'm wondering if anybody is in the audience in the Facebook or even in Instagram, if there was, I don't know, maybe something recent that you have discovered within yourself that you're like, I had to be unapologetic, right? And again, it's not about making apologies. It's about being authentically who you are. That's the unapologetic brand. That's the mission. Is just about being comfortable, being set, being happy with your authentic self, knowing what that is. And even the parts of you that you may not like, that may need a little bit more nurturance. And really that's what that is, right? Is the parts of us that make us feel that shame and maybe embarrassment. We need to show more love and more empathy to those parts. Learn how to nurture the parts of you that often bring about the shame and the guilt. Once you start nurturing and just loving those parts, you are able to love your whole self unapologetically, right? And it's the best feeling, because although it's going to there those parts are going to come up at any given time and at any given moment, you're able to say, whew, there's that part again, but I'm going to love it and I'm going to nurture it because it's part of who I am. And I'm not going to reject it, because then I'm rejecting that piece who is part of me. And if I'm someone who has experienced the trauma of rejection or abandonment in the past, what do you think is happening when you're rejecting and abandoning your own feelings? You're adding to your trauma. Does this make sense to people? I'm hoping that you're there with me, right? It's we need to love those parts. We need to learn how to nurture those parts of us that sometimes might not feel great, but they're part of us. And learning how to be unapologetic, even with people who may want to try to make us feel worse about the things that we do. Every decision that you make may not be the best decision, right? We're humans. We mess up. That's okay. And yet you can still move forward and make a better decision for yourself, right? We don't know it all unless you're that person that's like maybe a psychic and just knows, a lot of different things. But that's just not how things operate. You have to go with where your spirit or your mind or your intuition is leading you, because that's the best chance for your peace and happiness, even if it's not leading you towards people that you're used to or comfortable with. Sometimes life doesn't lead us into that direction. I can't tell you how many people I've met along the way, and a lot of those people are not in my life currently. Why? Because sometimes it is for a season or two, or maybe a few years. And then I realize we grow. We grow, or different things happen and situations happen, and you realize we're not on that level together. And that is okay. Love you either way, but I got to keep it pushing and I got to keep it moving, right? We can love people from afar. It doesn't always have to be a disgruntled disconnection. That is not necessarily growth per se. That is the part of if you oftentimes experience a disgruntled disconnection from someone, then there are parts of you that actually need healing and being able to let go and release, right? Um, everything doesn't have to be so disgruntled. That means you have some unresolved anger that you need to go through. Can it hurt? Absolutely. Absolutely. We're human beings. Can I be upset if somebody does something to me and the intention was to make me angry? Absolutely. But if I know that, then I need to make peace with that and I need to move on forward, because that person truly is not for me, right? In a way or fashion. And I'm going to do it unapologetically, right? So again, when we're speaking to the unapologetically movement or being unapologetically yourself, this isn't about anybody else and what you may or may not have to prove to anybody else. This is a mindset for yourself about believing and knowing that the decisions in the life that you are choosing, you're doing it for your overall well-being. You are doing it to show yourself love. You are making certain decisions to provide yourself the self-care and the love that you want and you need. And a lot of times, if anything, most times, other people aren't going to do it for you. It is your responsibility to do these things for yourself, because no one else can cater to you the way you can. But if you don't cater to yourself and you're busy catering to everyone else, where is your unapologetic love? Where is your own self-care? And then you're burnt out, and then you're the disgruntled one because you haven't done your work to give yourself the space that you need and to provide what you need for yourself. So be unapologetic about it. Say, yeah, this time, this date, that's my self-care time. For an hour or two or three, maybe four, maybe the whole day, I'm not going to be by my phone. And that's okay. I'm going to be doing what I need to do for myself, right? Or I have this networking thing, or I have to do, or I have to be, I'm going to be working because I need to make this money because I have goals. These are things that they're all your responsibility, things that you have to take care of, right? And those are things that you don't have to apologize to anybody for. These are things that you have to do for your overall well-being, right? It doesn't have to come out in a toxic way with an attitude. It's just this is what I'm doing for myself, for my self-care, for loving and showing myself that I'm showing up for me. So go out, show up for yourself, and you can add people to that along the way just as well. But when you need something for you, go ahead and do that. Unapologetic. All right. So I hope that you guys all have gotten some insight to what being unapologetic means as far as this movement is concerned. And I'm so excited for this year and the things that we have coming. If you have not already checked out the brand new Unapologetically website, please go ahead and do so. We have some new features there that we did not have in the other website, such as an affirmation page. There's like a calendar, and you pick a day and an affirmation comes up, as well as we have the Women Day Retreat workshops going. And there was one set for January, February, March. We had to cancel the January one due to low numbers, but that's okay. We keep moving. Tuesday, in February, we will be having a Women's Day workshop, and it's an Unapologetically Me workshop. And it's low cost. So I really hope that, women can join in on it. And we're kind of reverting backwards and kind of re-bringing up what is unapologetically me and working on self-love and self-compassion. Like, we're starting it off that way. So I hope that women are able to join. In the March, we're doing some indoor rock climbing to work on self-empowerment. So it's going to be a fun time. And then we're just going to keep on going. There's also on the website a blog. I started a blog, and I have two up there. The third one is going to be coming up either the end of this week or next week, beginning then. And I really hope you guys subscribe to the blog so you can be the first person or the first people to know when the blog has come out. And there could be some cool membership features a part of it too. So, continue being unapologetic. I thank you all for joining me here today, and I'll see you guys soon.